made one major mistake in my speaking career. Is I followed John after a speak. If anyone's heard John Herdman speak, it's you'd never want to follow the guy. But in 2017, I was at the Canadian Soccer AGM, and Dean and I and 7 other crazy investors decided to invest in the Canadian Premier League. And not sure why, other than the fact that this country needed its own league. And we had this bold idea, but what was inspiring in 2017 was I was sitting there, I was 2 years out of my retirement, I played 12 years professionally, played for Canada, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this country needs a league, we need to invest in a league, but we need inspiration. And John Herdman got up on the stage, and he was the, obviously at that time he just had a ton of success with the women's national team. And he got on the stage, and I've never heard John speak, and he looked in the room, and it was a room of all the associations, all the provinces, all the board members, of about 300 people in the room, and he stood there on the stage and he looked at everyone in the eye. And at that time, I think Canada Soccer, the men's team, was ranked over 100th in the world. We were irrelevant in the world. We didn't have a men's professional league. We didn't have a women's league. We had an ounce of success on the women's team thanks to John. But he stood up there as the men's national team coach, and he said, you know, get on my bus. And if you're not behind me, if you're not uniting behind this project, then I don't want you here, because I'm going forward, and you need to get on this bus with me. And if you're not behind me, then leave the room, because I'm going forward. And I think that was inspirational, because I think that speaks to the game a little bit. And everyone in this room is involved somehow in Canada Soccer. We got associations, we got, you know, I've seen everybody here. There's former players, we have national team coaches, we have a female coach, Jasmine Mander here. You know, we're footballers in this room. And I think what's really interesting is, I think the game's been slightly fractured. I think this country's slightly fractured. And what John's done, he's inspired a nation. And in 3 weeks, we're going to be watching our national team play in front of the world and represent our country. And what's going to happen? I played the game. I know what this game can do. It unites. It inspires people. It brings communities together. It brings people, family, friends together, right? And we've never had that in this country. And I'm so inspired. I'm so excited to see what happens in 3 weeks and see this country come together. And that takes me to this club. That takes me to this market. I live in Vancouver. I bleed Vancouver. I travel the world. I advertise the city. It's one of the greatest cities in the world. And I've been disappointed as a footballer, as a former player, that there isn't a club, in my opinion, that represents the community, that unites a community, that inspires. And I sit here and I look at our brand and I look at the people in this room, and I think there's something special in the air, and we've written it here. And I think people are looking for a football club to support. We as a football club need to do something different in the community. You know, and I'm looking at the screen there, and the question is, when we started this journey, and we said, okay, what's the name going to be? You know, and again, we're sitting here in Langley, and we're standing here in Langley, the Langley Event Center, but it's more than Langley. You know, it's all the communities. Everybody in this room is from a different municipality, different community. So it's bigger than the municipality. And that was the first question we asked: is what if a pro club could do more good for people? And we started with that question. And to me, it's more about the game, right? It's about uniting, it's about inspiring, it's about bringing communities together. And when I go to Pacific games, when I go to other CPL games, and you see families and friends and young kids being inspired, and whether you want to be a professional soccer player or you want to be just a fan or a hardcore supporter, but you're inspired, and it's bringing people together. And that was the question we asked ourselves: what if a pro club could do more good for more people? And I think that's kind of the message that we're asking ourselves. And we're going to ask questions in this community, because I think we have an opportunity, we have a platform with this professional club here in the Lower Mainland to do something different, to do something good. And we don't have the answers, but I think we can inspire, and I think this club can unite, and we're very excited about it. So if everybody's asking, funny enough, the name Vancouver Football Club got leaked on Twitter last week, and I don't know who's on Twitter, but it's a very dangerous place. And someone leaked the name Vancouver Football Club, and people were sending me screenshots, and everybody was hammering us and slamming us. Why would you call Vancouver Football Club? These guys are idiots. I'm never supporting this club. And I'm sitting here for 5 years, and I'm trying to invest in this game, and we're trying to grow the game in this country, and I'm like, we're trying to unite. and already people have taken the name, and they're slaughtering it. They're finding ways to find the negativity around this, and to me, and I was excited to launch the team today because it's about more than just one community. It's about all the communities, and we're going to launch the brand video, and as you're going to see, you know, in the logo, you see the lines there. That's the cable of the bridges, and bridges unite the communities, and I think that's something special. And again, this room speaks to this. Everybody here is from the Lower Mainland, from Greater Vancouver. So I think the name is really going to resonate. We're excited about the name Vancouver Football Club. We really love the colors. I hope everybody loves it. And so, without further ado, we want to launch our video. And so if everybody could take a look at all the screens, and let's kick this off. Yeah, so we're out. We're Vancouver Football Club, and we're proud. But most importantly, we want to make this community proud. We want to make the Lower Mainland proud. We want everyone to go back into their communities and talk about this club, and how this club and the platform we have can make a difference in the game, the beautiful game, because the game has provided myself such a fantastic life, and I think it can provide other young kids. We have young aspiring soccer players in the room here. There are former players in the room, national team players, and it really is a beautiful game. And we're proud of the logo, we're proud of the brand, and it took a lot of work. If you look around the room, take some time. We did a lot of surveying, we did a lot of studies. So Vancouver Football Club. One final announcement we have. Coach. A lot of people have been asking who's going to coach this club, and I think we've really dove into what type of coach is going to represent this club. And again, when you look at Vancouver, it's multicultural, it's diverse, it's global. You know, these are some key words about Vancouver. So when we went down our search, there was one guy I had in mind, and a quick story about this man is in 2012 I was playing in Germany. And I got this call from Japan, unknown number, and he goes, hey, you know, I pick up the phone, and he goes, Rob Friend, introduce himself, and he goes, I've been watching you for a while. Have you ever looked at the Japanese league? And at that time I was in Germany. I said, no, didn't really know much about the league. And fast forward, he really tried to recruit me for about 2 years, and we created a great relationship and a lot of respect for each other. And at that time, you know, I was towards the end of my career, and he really fought for me, and I really kept that in mind, and I generated a lot of respect for this man. And about 4 or 5 months ago, I got another call from him, and I hadn't heard from him in a while, and I've been following his career, and we sort of kept in touch. This man had coached around the world. Coached in China, he's coached in Japan, he's coached in Korea, he's been a national team coach for Iran, he's been an assistant coach in the World Cup for USA, he's coached the LA Galaxy. I mean, these are some pretty significant clubs and names and countries that this man has coached in. And he said, I want to come to Vancouver, I love your project. And I said, well, I can't afford you. You're paying Canadian pesos. Trust me. Don't even bother, I can't afford you. And he said, I don't care about the money. This project, I'm inspired. I've been watching what's happening in Canada. This country is growing. I want to be part of this. I don't even care about anything else. I want to be part of this. And so, very inspiring, and we're excited to announce our inaugural head coach. And before we bring him on stage, we've got a quick little video we'd like everybody to watch about the next Vancouver FC head coach.
The reason I'm emotional is because I came from the streets. We used to use rocks for goals, plastic balls. We played off tires for ball passes. We'd lose our balls in a neighbor's yard. We had to climb over, and police would chase us down the street. I was an immigrant. So as an immigrant coming to America, at the time the hostages took place, very difficult. So every day we had to fight, we had to work, we had to try to prove ourselves. And football was my savior. The game allowed me to gain confidence. And I went on, and I was very small, not as tall as Rob. And a part of it had to do with maybe didn't eat enough when I was a kid. Came from a teach your family, teach your wages. And what the game did for me, it showed me that there's hope, that you can dream, just like this club. So that's why when Rob called me and we talked about this club, I wanted to be here. And when I see you today, I get emotional because I can feel the potential, the power of this city, power of football, and what we can do together. So I apologize to be emotional, but that's who I am. And I can assure you that what this team will do, it will unite all the groups, from the indigenous group, from the Korean community, the Iranian community, the Indian community, the Chinese community, the Japanese community, whoever you are, we'll take you in our hearts. And we'll fight together and make Canadian football not just best in CONCACAF, which I applaud you for what you've done, but I think in the world, because there's so much talent in Canada. And the last 2 months I've been watching the games in the Premier League, and I think the league has done such a wonderful job. There's so many good players. I'm shocked to see so much quality with such small budgets. And that just shows you the potential of this club, this league. And I hope that I can be part of that. You can see with my hair, I'm kind of getting old. But with every gray hair and every wrinkle, some wisdom, some experience. And I want to mentor the younger players, younger coaches, and try to be part of the dream that you guys have built in Canadian soccer. But thank you for having me with you. I hope you support me, and only with your help we can become the best, not only in Vancouver, but also in Canada, plus in the world. Thanks so much.
Now, you've coached literally all over the world, been to 3 World Cups. Why the Canadian Premier League?
As I shared with you before, one of the things that I've always been open to, I'm very spiritual, is that I've always believed that God places me in locations where I need to be. When I go to Japan, they had the biggest disaster, and I was really part of the rebuild after the tsunami. And it really meant a lot to me to be able to help the community to gain hope after such a disaster. When I went to Iranian football, Persepolis, the club was at, nobody was going to the games anymore. People had lost hope of the club, and I was able to, with 18 games undefeated run, bring all the fans back into the stadium. And I always tried to respect the opponent, respect the referees, and it was really not done in that particular moment in football, and that kind of connected the football community again. I believe Canadian football at this moment is at a very incredible point. They are going to the World Cup after so many years. They're hosting the next World Cup. And I think this league has a chance to create a legacy and a foundation and landscape to build the next generation of players. So Canada can consistently go to the World Cup, can compete and get results. And I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that excitement.
Now, Coach, another one for you. Reports indicate you've been in Canada less than 24 hours, and now you're here with us tonight. What are your first impressions of Vancouver and the Lower Mainland?
My wife and I have a bucket list, so we try to, every chance we get, to go to different parts of the world, and Vancouver has always been on our list, and unfortunately the schedule and my crazy life hasn't allowed me to come to Vancouver. And I've had players that have played for the Whitecaps, my former players, like for example, June Marcus Davidson was a Japanese-American player that played for Whitecaps. Lee Yong-pyo played for the Whitecaps. Peter Baines played for Whitecaps. And also Diago Kobayashi played for Whitecaps. And they all told me that they love Vancouver so much they want to live here. So when I had the opportunity to come visit and live here, it was almost like a dream come true. And the moment I landed, I saw 2 very young gentlemen who came to pick me up, and they couldn't stop talking about how beautiful the city was. And of course, within moments as the car is driving through the streets, and he was actually the driver. I don't know, but I noticed how the light and sun shines through the cloud and hits the ocean and the mountains, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's breathtaking. And as I get older, I get to appreciate these subtle and small things. That's one thing that really I loved about Vancouver. The second thing that I really love is we start walking the streets. They were carrying this camera and they're filming me. And we met a lady that came to me, and she said, "You must be famous." I said, "No, I'm not famous." And she started talking to us, and she was so friendly and so open that I fell in love with this lady, and I thought to myself, how kind and hospitable she is. She just literally stopped her, whatever she was doing, just to have a conversation. And I've had several of these conversations with people in Vancouver, so I realized that the people in Vancouver are really kind. The place is beautiful, and I have the best owners in the world, so I'm really, really happy to be here.
Yes, you can.